Welcome to iPen Podcast, Interviews and Conversations. Here we bring entrepreneurs and their business to their audience and communities as well as ours. We welcome and connect with them to share who they are and what they do. Authors, entrepreneurs, we extend the invitation to promote your business here on our podcast and in iPen Magazine. Your article, your story, your promotions, how you can connect with others, a new audience, a quarterly magazine presented online for all to view and subscribe to. For articles, ads, and subscriptions, please contact ipendesigns@gmail.com. For your viewing, you can see past articles, past interviews on www.nanettembuchanan.com. Welcome to the show. Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Nanette Buchanan, and this is iPen Stations, where we bring in others, literary, as well as business, as well as community organizations. And we'd like to welcome you to our show. We're here every Monday night at 6:30. We'd like to welcome you and ask you to share. Invite your audience, invite your friends, because we have a dynamic show for you tonight. But before we get into that dynamic show, I need to introduce someone that's dynamic to me, always there to help me, my partner in crime. She is Miss Felice Reeves. Hey, Felice, how are you, sweetie?
Hi, I am great, fantastic, super excited about this guest tonight. But first of all, yes, as she said, I'm Felice Reeves, the celebrator of entrepreneurs. And in that, I went to a networking and I got a new tagline. I am a connector. I connect big people to big projects. How about that?
All right, big people to big projects. Well, I hear you. I hear you. I'm gonna have to put that. I'm gonna have to put that in a label. Big people with big projects.
Well, or opportunity, but I like one or the other. Interchangeable. But there you go.
Yeah, it's interchangeable. I think so. I think so. But if you are interested in becoming connected to big people and big projects, all you have to do is contact us at www.nanettembuchanan.com or ipendesigns@gmail.com, because we want you. We want to talk to you about your big projects and your big connections that you're making. And tonight we've connected with somebody special. Felice, we got somebody special coming on.
Yes, we do. This woman.
Listen, let me
look. I think she does everything but sleep.
Let me tell you something about this young lady. Tonight's guest is Miss Eva Tremaine, and she's a phenomenal author. But let me just tell you how I met Miss Tremaine. Remember when we had Alicia Evans on from Sugar and Spice?
Yeah.
Well, I met Miss Tremaine about the same time that I met Alicia. So we're talking a good couple of years. I decided to read her book.
Baby, okay. Wait, which one? Because the list is...
Yeah, the list is long, but let me tell you. I figured that the title of this book matched everything I was going through at the time.
Oh.
Unstable.
Oh, well.
I was totally unstable. Now, I'm not going to tell everybody what the book was about. We're going to bring Miss Tremaine on to tell you about this book and to tell you how it turned into a trilogy, which meant I had to keep reading it. I had to keep going. But let me explain to you.
Okay, well, sign me up, because baby, if she wrote my story in the pages of my book, I'm getting my cut.
I'm telling you. Not only that, here's the thing. I'm still unstable.
Well, that's why we are partners in crime.
Exactly. But I want to welcome her to the stage and let her explain what it is, because her writing is contagious. And that's the biggest thing that I could say about it, that you're going to turn pages and want to turn more. So let's bring her to the stage so she can explain this. Miss Eva Tremaine, good evening, my dear. Good evening.
Hey. Yay, thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you guys so much for having me on your show.
Well, we are
Well,
honored because I don't know
more
how
than
you have
welcome.
5 minutes for us and all the laundry list of stuff you do. So,
Yes.
baby, we're honored.
Yes, yes, yes. And like I said, I recognize, and I say this every show. So far, we've been doing this now. We started back in April, and we started back with the idea that we were going to go into our past. And I decided that, okay, I need to talk to people that were there on my journey when I first started, when I first had my first book, when I first had my first event, when I didn't know what I was doing. We need to go back and start with those people who were so
Mhm.
supportive then
Mhm.
and are still connected now.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think part of what we lose in our elevation
Hmm.
is the fact that we don't remember those along the way.
Yeah.
And I did not want to be elevated or blessed with elevation and not go back and grab those that I know helped put me in the right frame of mind so that I could continue and do what I needed to do, knowing that there were going to be some challenges because everybody that we talked to back then would tell you what the challenges are. So
Yes.
I want to thank you for being one of those people. I remember our conversations and you
Yes.
saying, well, I don't know about this book cover. I don't know how it's going to make it. I don't know. And we all looked at it and said, no, it says what it says. It's so welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Tell us, who is Miss Eva Tremaine?
Oh wow, that is a loaded question.
Well, you
I
don't have to unload it all at once. You can
Oh,
break it
first,
down in pieces. We'll
Mhm.
let you do that. But we do want to know who are you?
Yes, first and foremost, I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a grandmother to two beautiful grandchildren.
yes.
I am a sister. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a writer. I'm a tech geek. I love technology.
Mm,
I'm a teacher. So I'm many, many things. And
mm,
I'm blessed to be able to have the opportunity to explore a lot of different things that piques my interest.
mm.
Okay, okay.
Nice.
So now you've named all of those things, and we're going to unpack all of those things as we
Mhm.
go along. We're gonna look into some of the things that others might not know.
Yes.
And I think one of the first things that comes up in my mind is you unpack some of those things that we all do.
Hmm.
We're wives, we're mothers, we're sisters, we're grandmas, we all do those. But
Yeah.
in all of that, there's one connecting factor.
Mhm.
And I want you to explain how you did this. How do
Mhm.
you overcome challenges?
Mm,
Wow. So, in my life, I faced a lot of different challenges, and my way of addressing those challenges varies, right? So, for those who don't know, I definitely grew up with a rough beginning. I had a learning disability. So, just
mm.
overcoming that in
Oh.
itself was a huge challenge. I started
Mhm.
school very late. They definitely thought I was like special needs. I was surrounded by therapists. So I think the first challenge that I overcame in life is really overcoming some of that learning disability. And
Mm,
now, like I couldn't really read, I couldn't speak. It was very hard to understand things. But so overcoming that was my biggest, I think, my biggest success. And now, having overcome that, owning a software company, working on book number 8, and then also teaching. So I teach special needs now. A
oh.
part of my
Mm,
company
mm,
that I teach, I have a software company and I
Mhm.
do a lot of teaching. But one of the areas that I really focus on right now is not only teaching young children how to code as young
Mhm.
as 7 years old, but also teaching special needs.
Mm,
So I say that I approach challenges with the idea that it doesn't matter what it looks like now. Once I
mhm.
set my mind to it, I
Mhm.
can accomplish it. And I always say your beginning does not dictate your end. So
Yes.
it doesn't
yes.
matter what I want to do. My husband will say, whatever you set your mind to, you're going to do it regardless of your obstacles. Because I can't lose mentality, and I
Yeah.
every challenge with that thought process.
Awesome.
Right.
Woo, I love it. I
Right.
love it. So, that you just named about 4 other things that was not in in your life.
Well, the thing that I think is a blessing, I think there's a blessing in all of that, because the people that struggle with
Mhm.
different disabilities or different
Mhm.
things, I always go to the Olympics, and I
Mhm.
don't know why. I guess because me being into sports and everything, I always go to the Olympics, and I always look at those people that are in the Special Olympics,
Mhm.
and I always look at the fact that if they can do that and train, because I
Yeah.
know what their training is. I know what the training has to be. If they can do that and train and go out there and compete and
Mhm.
accept defeat when defeat comes
Yeah.
and go back out there and try again and go back. Who am I to say that I've got a challenge?
Yeah.
Who am I to say that it's not worth trying again?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to hear you say that you've overcome disabilities in reading, or disabilities in being able to connect
Mhm.
verbally, and then you're on your 8th book.
Mhm.
Well,
Wow.
if that's not overcoming a challenge, you
Mhm.
know.
Well, I think she should be instead of overcome. She's a challenge seeker now. Because come on now, she
Yeah, she's looking for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Bring
open
it
up.
on. Yes.
Yes,
is
yes.
a challenge seeker.
Yes, because you open up a software and consulting development
Yeah.
and development, and
Mhm.
you name it after you because
Very
it's
good.
yours.
Very good.
So I'm trying to figure out, in all that you do,
Mhm.
how did it arrive to open? I mean, I understand overcoming the challenge.
Yeah, right. That part.
Mhm.
That part I got. But
Mhm.
how did you decide that not only am I going to overcome this challenge, I'm going to create
Mhm.
this next thing?
Yeah, so I started my company, a couple of things. So I was working for a company for quite some time, and they were doing a transition to being taken over by another company. So at that time, I made the decision to start this software company. And originally, I was going to do like websites and things of that nature, and I kind of fell into teaching. And teaching is the biggest part of my company right now. So when I started my company, I really was thinking, okay, let me figure out another source of income until I get my next solid 9 to 5.
Mhm.
And I kind of fell into teaching by helping someone out. And then they referred me to someone else and I helped them out. And I said, wait a minute, I think I might be good at this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and at that time, I was just teaching adults. And then I had a young lady reach out to me and ask if I knew how to teach coding. She says, I know you know coding, but do you know how to teach coding?
Mhm.
I said, in
Mm-hmm.
my mind, I'm like, never did it before, but yeah, sure, I can do that. And
Yes, you can.
so I kind of fell into teaching. I have like 6 kids that I teach coding now to as young as 7 years old. And then I linked up with someone else and they had, this student was having trouble learning, right? And they needed a way to understand technology. And I helped that student. And then I fell into teaching special needs and got certified through New Jersey State. And now I have like 7 special needs students that I teach online. So I kind of fell into teaching, but I realized that it's really part of my ministry because I'm
Mm-hmm.
helping so many people and I'm
Yeah.
helping individuals that find technology very challenging. And to
Yeah.
me, it's very easy to me.
Mhm.
It's almost like I can pour back into individuals something that I'm really good at and something that I love.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Awesome. Okay, well, I was just going to jump in and say, but you've already covered it. But I was going to
I'm
say,
sorry.
I have a new category of special needs for you. That
Okay.
would be myself and
Yes. Trust me. Trust me, I have some of those students as well. And I'm not going to name anyone. They're probably
Mm-hmm.
listening right now. But
okay.
I have some of those
Right.
that are technically challenged, I call them.
And not only that, the thing about technology is it changes so
Yes.
often.
Yes.
Things change so often. I mean,
Mhm.
you look at your phone one minute and they say, oh, your input cannot be put in because you didn't change XYZ, and you're looking at it going, well, what is that?
Yeah.
You know, or my favorite is when I open up my computer and it says your browser has been changed. And I'm like, oh my God, where's all my stuff? You know, these are the things that go on because of the fact that we're not into it on a daily basis. You know, some of us are into it because we go for what we need.
Yeah.
We're not going for the integration of working with it every day. So a person like yourself becomes an asset to us and to the community. Thank you for, you know, stepping in and taking that purpose on, because everybody has a purpose. And if you find that and the thing about purpose, you know, for the audience as well as for you, is to understand that purpose is comfortable. Purpose is not something that
on it now.
You know that you're hard at and you got to make work. You don't have to make your purpose work. Your purpose, you feel good about what you're doing. You relax in what you're doing. You find joy in what you're doing, and you thank God for it. So the thing about it is, we have to understand that when you in your purpose, you in your element, you shine the best when you're in that zone.
Okay. So give me a little bit more like deep dive into your software consulting and development. What does that entail? Okay, let me go back this because I'm all over the place. I'm like, ooh. But so your classes teach either coding or something, but so what do you do once you learn whatever it is? You go and apply for a job, or do you work with your or do you work with your company? How does that work?
Yeah, so I really so I specialize in helping you with what you need help with. I have college students that I'm helping them pass their thesis. I have college students, I'm getting them through college. I have special needs students that are just trying to learn every day. I have coding students where they want to learn how to code. I teach software if you want to learn how to use Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. I do PowerPoint presentations. I teach mobile app development. So it's really anything that you need. And I customize websites. I develop solutions. So you can come to me and say, like I had a school and then they needed a way to do data entry. So I met with them. I did a consultation and I developed a software app for them that allowed them to capture data based on their needs. So I basically do anything in technology.
Okay, hold it right there. Nanette Buchanan. The solution to your the online magazine is sitting right in front of you.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, I told you I'm a connector.
Yes. You're right. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, and I just deleted an app that I don't know how I deleted it.
Oh boy.
I'm sitting here going, I have no idea what happened to it. I hit the button and the button is gone and it's gone and I don't know. And I looked at it and said, well, you know what? That means God didn't want me to have it. I'm going to just leave it alone. So I'm very simple when it comes to certain things. If it don't work today, then it must not meant for you to work it tomorrow. So I got to find some way to do it. But you're absolutely right, Felice. We have now found another partner in crime. We will definitely be in touch to find out some of the stuff that we've been trying to battle our heads with.
Yes.
And the thing about it is, how often do people do that? You know, we go to the person that we know may or may not have something already. And we say to them, hey, I'm looking to do this. Can you help me? And they show you tidbits and pieces of what you need.
Right.
And someone you know is into it, and you don't even realize that they're the answer to what's needed. You know, you don't even realize, because I looked at it and said, wow, I didn't know she had a software company. But did it dawn on me like a month or so ago to call her and say, do you do such and such? No, it dawned on me just now. Just now.
I love it.
Well, just now via Felice, because that's what I'm here for. It's like,
that's the partner in crime.
Our kids on this thing.
That's the exact reason why she's the partner in crime. And it's so, you know, inspiring to know that, you know, you've overcome challenges. You found a niche that is very well your purpose. But just so that the audience knows, and they probably didn't know you had a software company either. They didn't pay attention to that because we've been paying attention to your books.
Yes.
We've been paying attention to your journey in literature. We've been paying attention to those books that make us turn the page and go, well, wait, this can't be the end of this book. We've been doing that with your book. So
Yes.
tell us where did that start, and what is your writing style? Because you each book has its own distinct, separation to it. So where did this all begin?
Yeah, so I kind of fell into writing as well. So as you know, I'm in the fabulous Sugar and Spice Book Club, and we always have an authors come, and we were doing a short story contest within the book club. So never really wrote. I was always really good in school with all my classes, but I never really thought about like being a writer or anything of that nature. But I wrote this short story, and then we had a couple of the authors visit when we was reading our short stories, and someone said, "Wait a minute, you're on to something." And I'm like, "Really?" So I never considered writing, and that short story was Unstable. And that's how Unstable was born. And it took me a long time to actually get that first book out. The first time I sent it to the editor, she ripped it apart. I put it away for 7 months, dried my tears. And then I said, "You ain't no quitter. Get this book back up and do what you do." Yeah. And I picked it back up, and that Unstable became, and then book 2 came, and book 3 came. And here I am today as a writer.
Wow. Right. And that's a good message, a powerful message for a lot of people that, you get editors sometime. I remember my first book, the book clubs tried to rip it apart. They tried. They did. And they did. They made me as an author look at it and go, is that really a problem? But I realized after about the maybe the second or third book club said, there is no mall on 95.
Got you.
And I immediately said, is that the only thing you can find? So sometimes, I say that to say, sometimes we have to really look at what's being torn apart. Because a lot of times it will detour our mission. So I'm glad that you went back and said, wait a minute. Let me connect the dots. Let me redo whatever it is I need to redo, and just go ahead and tell the story. Because a lot of times they look at it and they're, in their editing, like you said, I couldn't understand what the problem was, but a lot of people, well, there's no mall on 95. Is that your only concern? Is the mall on 95? Really? Is that what the problem is? Oh, I don't think they know each other well enough. What? Is that what the problem is? So we have to look at the editing aspect as what it is. And I think one of the things that we as authors all need to be able to express is just what you said. I have a certain style. I stay with the style that I have. My style is not supposed to be someone else's style. I write, I write in my style, and I appreciate that. But where did you get that story? Well, never mind. What in the world?
What in the world?
Pushes your pen. Tell me where do you come from? I think we asked Stephen the same thing, and we found out he was into vampires when he was like 8 or 9. So where do you think your background in writing, in stories, just in telling the stories, where does it come from?
Yeah, so number one, I have a very vivid imagination. I like to watch a lot of really dark, twisted stuff. Like I like psychological stuff. My husband thinks I'm a complete psychopath half the time. I say that, they have those algorithms online that try to figure the person out, and they don't know if I am into religion or if I'm a psychopath, if I'm planning someone's murder. If I'm in one moment I'm watching Elmo, they're like, what is happening with this person? So I'm a very
Mhm.
unique
Mhm.
individual. I don't like, even with my writing, I don't like to write in one genre. You touched on it
Mhm.
earlier, and you said, well, you're here and then you're there. I write what I want to write, and that's why I love being a
Mhm.
published author, because I
Nice.
don't have to align to any one guidelines. Obviously, the writing is working, it's well received. So
Mhm.
I like, my writing style comes from me watching a lot of psychological stuff, number one.
Mhm.
And then secondly, what's unique about my writing is the title comes to me before anything else.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So I always see the title first. Unstable came to me like in a dream. I'm a big dreamer.
Mm.
So a lot of my titles, I'll get like one word. And then
Mhm.
what I do is I research that word and I
Oh,
make my book fit, and I have to stay true to that word. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter. Like,
Mhm.
I will not
yeah.
deviate. And
Yeah.
when
Mhm.
I'm almost like I'm married to it, and
Yeah.
I let
Mhm.
the story develop around that word, and I'll do research around it, and I'll figure out, okay, how am I going to write this book? And that's happened for almost
Mhm.
every one of my books. Like even the number seven, again, the number seven came to me. With open, the word open came to me. So that
Mm.
happens with all my books, and that drives a lot of my writing. That one
Mhm.
word that's given to me as inspiration.
Mhm.
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 Mhm. So
Okay.
you're pushing the pen
Mhm.
according to your dreams and your and what you feel is coming from the pen and your characters. I know being a writer, the
Mhm.
characters begin to evolve and take
Mhm.
over, and they give you the story, and you have it. When do you know that you hit it?
Um, I know that and you're absolutely right. The characters will take over no matter what you have in your mind that you want to write.
Mhm.
Mhm.
My characters will begin to speak. And when
Mhm.
I know that I'm in the right path is when the words are literally pouring out of me, where
Exactly.
I keep my phone next to me at night, and I have like a little notepad app. And
Mhm.
sometimes I just get things. I could be
That's
sleeping
right.
and I get it, and I have to wake up and write it down.
Yeah.
And that's how I know I'm being truly authentic
Mhm.
to my
Mhm.
characters, because I let them speak through me. And I
Mhm.
Mhm.
and I even if I have to wait it, I think I want it to go, I
Mhm.
will be authentic and let the characters tell the story.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
when I know I'm on the right path, when it's pouring from me. If it's
Mhm.
forced, then that means I'm doing too much and I'm
Mhm.
trying to force the story.
Yeah.
And I will
Mhm.
put it down until I feel
Until you can pick it back
natural
up.
flow of coming back
Mhm.
to me naturally.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Nice.
That's nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
That's
now
good.
you know, some people will listen to this and say, she got
Crazy.
voices in her head,
She got voices.
in her
Yeah.
imaginary. And
Mhm.
that's
My husband,
okay because baby,
my
Listen.
husband told his mother, he said, if anything ever happens to me, investigate my wife. Because she's crazy. She always reading that twisted stuff. If you read her books, if
Mhm.
anything happened to me,
yeah.
investigate her first.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
when we were talking with Stephen, we had that kind of conversation because I've got the sweetest daughter on earth. I mean, she is sweet as pie, but she
Mm-hmm.
looks at all of these, you know, hate crime things, or and you know, even like all the Real Housewives and all that. And I'm like, baby, this is not your life.
Mm-hmm.
How are you interested?
It happens. It
Mm-hmm.
And no,
happens.
it is
And
the
and the,
total.
and the thing about it is sometimes it's not even your interest. It's not even where you would go.
Mm-hmm.
Like the story may not take you the way you would respond. You
Right.
know, your
Right.
response may be entirely different. And that's why I said a versatile pen. That
Mm-hmm.
versatile pen means so much
Mm-hmm.
because you can go from the bad marriage to the
Mm-hmm.
murder crime.
Yes.
You can go from the murder to someone being totally religious, and
Mm-hmm.
you can go all the way around. So you can't, it's almost like the actors. You know how we say you don't want to watch an actor who's just committed to one type of character.
Yeah,
You
Yes.
want
yeah,
you want to see them really act. So
yeah.
you want to
Right.
see them
Right.
become the bad guy, the good guy, the wealthy, the poor. You want to
Mm-hmm.
see all the characterizations that they can. And in order to do that, they have to have a writer like you.
Yeah.
They
Well,
got to
that
be able to
Yeah.
write that different story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it just dawned on me
One
that.
side of the story is unstable, and on the other side, you got Seven again coming full circle with the church in the background. What's happening here? What is going on?
Right.
That's just Eva. That's Eva and her
Mhm.
mom, and
Mhm.
I'm all over the place, but I love it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Eva, again, I'm in awe of this laundry list of,
Mhm,
and it's better than a laundry list because who likes laundry? But
mhm.
how do you find time for anything that you do? I mean, you said probably before the show started that you're organized, and yeah, I think you
Mhm.
have a ninja status organization. If you're the mother, the wife, the wife, the mother, the grandmother, the writer, the publisher, uh, the CEO, the teacher. Do you sleep?
I do.
I just
And
want to
I have
know.
a full-time 9 to 5 where I am the director of product. I do like automation tools
Mhm,
at my 9 to 5. But the
mhm,
way that I find time is I am super, super organized. And I do that where I plan ahead. I
mhm,
make sure I have time for family and time for
mhm,
friends and
mhm,
girlfriend trips and
mhm,
time with your husband. And I think it's just a matter of just being really super organized
mhm,
and planning out how you're going to execute. So
mhm,
anything that I want to do, it doesn't matter if I'm writing a book or if I want to learn a new subject, if I'm studying for a certification,
mhm,
I just write out all the steps that I need to do to get to my goal. And
mhm.
then I plan time to get there. If
Okay.
I'm planning
Mm-hmm.
a birthday party for my husband, I use the same
Mhm.
planning technique to get
Yeah.
what I want accomplished.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then now we're just gonna have to kidnap her and see how I can scrape some of her DNA off of her and give it to me. Then we'll give her back to her family.
Now, see there, I introduced you as partner in crime, and here you go, trying to
I'm just
kidnap
saying.
somebody, just trying to kidnap some. But you know what? I don't think we need her whole being. We just need the brain.
Well,
So,
Okay,
because
you're
we
just gonna
use
let's
take
not
my
some,
take a
brain
chance.
yeah, we
and
just
throw
have to
everything
pick
else
a
Let's
back.
not take a
brain.
chance. Let's just.
Yeah, we just pick a brain, pick a brain, and in that picking, what we want to know is, okay, you got me. You got me.
Mhm,
You said you started a software company because you
mhm,
said you went through school and you excelled because
mhm,
you've done all of these things because you got a family because,
Mhm.
but you
mhm,
still have not fulfilled my question
mhm.
about how deep do you go when you go in these books? I mean, you see her head cocked to the side. Did you see that? Did you
Yeah, I
see,
did.
That's a little
Yeah,
did you
that's a
see
little
that?
crazy
I
person
did.
on
I
my
did. And
shoulder.
again,
And
I'm
and
still wanting the DNA because.
yes. Well, the thing about it is, I mean this in all honesty. I
Mhm,
understand, like you said, we get redetermined. I think
Mhm,
as writers, when we put the book out there and we want somebody to read it.
mhm,
We
mhm,
and now it's no longer just read it. I really want you to read it, get it, enjoy the story. I want
mhm,
more than just to read. I'm not
mhm,
looking for someone to just read it. I want someone to really enjoy the story and come
mhm,
back to me and tell me that you really enjoyed the story.
mhm.
mhm,
Now you've done it. You've
Yeah.
done it where you've hooked them, and now they're Eva Tremaine. I'm reading her book. I'm reading this. I'm
mhm,
reading that.
Mhm,
When does the for the new writers,
mhm.
for the new writers, what would you tell the new writer that is fearful about those so-called reviews?
mhm,
Mm.
And we all know that the reviews ain't all they crack up to be. They're not. I mean, now Amazon has it where if you don't buy it through Amazon, you can't even put a review up there.
Mm.
You can't even
Mhm,
say what a review is.
mhm,
So if you don't have a regular spot where you're collecting reviews,
mhm,
no one really knows what's being said about your latest book, what's
mhm,
being said
mhm,
about this book. And until you get that reader that's an Amazon reader that
mhm.
really wants to take the time to put a review up,
Yep.
when do so what do you tell the new author who's looking and craving the review?
Yeah, so I'll say number one, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when I write, right, I write something genuinely that I love. And if I love it, as long as I love it, if you like it, if you don't like it, it's not your cup of tea. So
Right.
number one, I say be genuine to yourself and be true to yourself and speak your words. And it's not for everyone. So you might get someone that does not love your book, and that's okay. But I also say to take a different perspective on feedback. And you have to take that feedback, no matter how ugly it might appear, and figure out what you can learn from that, right? Even if it's only one person's opinion, a positive or negative review is something that you can learn from. So I
Yeah,
just say take a
absolutely.
different perspective on feedback, and that's with life, right? Not just books. Take a different perspective and just learn from that. But don't be married to that review. That review doesn't make or break your book. And
Yeah.
there's so many people, like you said, Nanette, that read books and maybe they haven't even posted a review. So you can't go on just the negative reviews.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted that to get out there because I believe that a lot of times we look for that pat on the back or that pat
Yeah.
on the shoulder, and we don't always get it, especially when we think that first book I've had to, and you probably have had it too, where I've had to tell people, you put out that first book, everybody and their mother want to know, can you write? So you may sell, 300-400 copies right off the bat.
Yeah.
But when you put out your eighth book,
Mm-hmm.
they look at you and go, okay, we know you can write, but
Mhm.
I ain't into that fiction
Right.
stuff you write.
Yes, yes.
I was supporting you, but this week I ain't
Mhm.
buying that book. I'm not into that
Okay.
book. So instead of the 300, your first time out, you only sell maybe 100. And now you're looking at it saying, maybe I'm not writing as good as I am. No, it has nothing to do with that. You have
Absolutely.
to constantly work for your audience. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you go into those that have influenced you? Who's been one of your biggest influences?
Yeah, I'll say that my driving factor, which really pushed me to overcome a lot of hurdles that I faced, like in my teenage years and young adult life, I would say would be my son.
Mm.
So I definitely have my son younger than I envisioned, but he really was the driving force to keep me pushing. He's the
Mm.
one that actually made me get into technology because I said, I got to be able to take care of this boy and I have to make sure that I have a career, right? Not a job, a
Yeah.
career that's going to sustain me. So I
Mm-hmm.
tell him the story sometimes where he's the one that kept me pushing, where I literally had him on my hip and I was going to school on the weekends and things of that nature to pass this technology course that you don't see a lot of us in it, right?
Right.
Especially
Mm-hmm.
anyone that looks like me. So
Yes.
I definitely was like the wow card.
Mm-hmm.
And he really was what inspired me to push through
Mm-hmm.
all of the limitations that I thought I had
Mm-hmm.
and to really develop I cannot quit type of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So he
Mm-hmm.
really was my driving force to really make me say, I don't have a choice but to succeed. So
Mm-hmm.
little
Mm-hmm.
black boy
Mm-hmm.
that's looking at me as his inspiration. And I'm going to show him that despite where you start and despite what it looks like, you can do this. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what drives me even today, right? Me and my son are like so close. I love him to death and
Mm-hmm.
love him for life.
Yes.
And he really is my driving force to
Mm-hmm.
just keep pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so God gives us many gifts, and I think you got in the line twice for the many gifts.
At least twice.
Right, at least twice.
Mm-hmm.
So can you prioritize the gifts? Because I don't want to say if you had to give them all up and pick just one, because we know that's not your
Mhm,
lot in life. But how do
mhm.
what is there something that drives you the most for all that you do? With your son aside, but of
Mhm.
the the manifestation of the drive that your son has inspired in you. What gives you, I don't know, maybe an ROI or the most return on investment for you?
I'll say teaching.
Yeah.
Because teaching is sometimes a thankless job in some cases. And when I can take technology and explain it to a child or explain it, I had a student who was 92 years old. And
Lord, there's hope for me. Okay.
I had a child as young as 7 years old. I had one student and she had dyslexia and she was having a challenge being able to write emails. And I was able to give her some skill sets. And when she came back and told me, you literally changed my life. And this was, it used to take me hours just to write an email because I had so much anxiety. And by you giving me these tips, now that anxiety, that's what I breathe for, right? And that, if I had to name one thing that gives me life, is teaching. Like, and that's why I know, that's why I call it my ministry, because I fell into it, but it's what I'm good at, and I see the change it's making.
Sure. Yeah. Ooh, I love that.
And again, we have to reiterate over and over and over again that there's a purpose. And when it's a purpose, it feels good. It feels good. You know that you're doing good. You know that you're giving to someone else and it makes them feel good. It's all connected and it helps you sleep well at night so you can hear those characters that talk to you.
Yes, those crazy characters.
You have to sleep well at night. So your new book, is it going into a whole nother dimension, or is it still got that touch and that flair that you put in your other books?
So the newest book that I just released is called Secrets Told. That is a story about two girlfriends, and that's the first book in a series called the Betrayal series. So that was released this year. And none of my books are going to be straightforward. They're all going to be twisted in some way, shape, or form, just to be clear. And that story is just about two girlfriends, thick as thieves, tell each other all secrets. And then one does something that is seen as betrayal and all bets are off. And when they say you have mad day, this girl had mad day. And the results of mad day are catastrophic. That's all I'm going to say.
Right.
My books will always have twists and turns and keep turning.
And you know what? I appreciate that in your writing, because the thing is, one thing I hate to look at a television show and be able to tell who done it, what's going to happen next. When the commercial comes back on and I see they leading toward what I already said while the commercial was on, I'm turning the channel. I'm doing the same thing with a book. If I pick up a book and I'm reading the chapters, and I'm not the person that I teased Alicia about this. I said, my books are not the kind that you can read the first pages, flip to the end, and think you know what the book is about. You'll never be able to tell.
There, like, wait a minute, how the heck did we get here? Now you gotta go back and read.
You gotta go back and read it. So I appreciate that about your writing as well. That make me read the entire book, because I paid for the entire book. I don't want to have the book where I got to pick it up. The cover is okay, but if I read the synopsis, I know the whole story.
Right.
I don't want that type of book. For new writers, what would you tell them would be one of the most important parts of putting the book together?
I would say when the most important part is being able to put your book in the hands of a professional to allow them to polish it, right? I say that when you write without any limitations, tell your story, but don't get your mama or your grandmama or your favorite auntie to say, oh, can you review my book and let me know if it's good? No, take the time to put your book in the hands of someone professional, because you really are leaving a legacy when you write these books and put them out there. And you want something that's polished and well prepared, and you don't want to cut corners. So I would say don't cut corners and something that you're leaving out that's going to be around for many years, even after you've gone.
Well, not only that, when you say put your book or put your work in the hands of a professional,
Yes.
just a caveat to that. Make sure the person is a professional.
Right. That part.
Absolutely.
I've run into a couple of people just within the last, couple of months that have, here's my baby. I gave it to this person, and the person knows less about how to take care of your baby than you do.
Yes.
So you got to be careful when you say put it in the hands of a professional. People ask me to do certain things, and I tell them I don't do that.
Yes.
There's certain things I just don't do. I can look at your work. I can tell you how to make your work. I can do all of this, but hey, I have an editor. Hey, I have a format person. I have someone that I go to get these things done. So please don't ask me, am I going to do? I can tell you what I do before I send it to the editor. I can tell you what I do to get it ready because we got to pay according to how many mistakes you making in there. I'm going to do certain things to prepare it. But I'm not going to tell you that I'm the editor. I'm not an editor. I can't tell you all of the things that you would need that an editor would be able to tell you.
And you're right. Like someone, when you say professional, someone that's their professional craft, and do your research, right? I think research is so important, and you really do have to treat writing like a business. Yes, it's fun. Yes, it's creative. But you have to take care of those important aspects of producing a product. And part of producing a product is doing your research and making sure you pick the right person to build the house. Right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Well, I think this is valuable too. It dawned on me as we're having this conversation, and you were talking about the types of writing that you do. And the story behind the writing helps, I think, open people's mind, because again, you hear a title or you read that synopsis or whatever, and then you form an opinion, much like we were talking about Stephen before. I'm like, gore and all of that. I'm just like, but after talking to him, I'm thinking, because again, I'm like, there's such a story behind not only the craft of it, but how it was birthed, if you will. His story and your story as well. It's so interesting and so multifaceted. Of how are you a software engineer by day? So again, it opens your mind to
I think Felice, that the question, the big question mark is most people that are into software are techies. Why would she not write a book about techie stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but or you
look at it and you're thinking that that's what they do.
She has skill set to write a manuscript or a tech, instruction book.
Yeah, exactly. She's not writing novels about sisters and betrayal. Because I mean, if it's going to be betrayal, she's going to make a robot. But that's a misconception.
Not that I'm an author, but the authors need to get out there and tell
their story.
That led them to do that story, right? Because again, it's just been, oh, wait a minute. Now I'm all interested in, how this vampire in, just the story, as opposed to it's a book about this thing. It's really a story.
And not only that, the thing about it is how, and they do it all the time. How dare the audience think that each book that you write, some kind of way, has to be you?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I get that all the time. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, when did you have a problem?
Right.
Did you and your girlfriend not get along? And, they automatically look at it like it's supposed to be your issue.
Exactly.
This is your problem, and you're writing about you. when in fact, if they read, they may find someone they do know.
Yes.
And if they read which way the tables are turning, they may avoid a problem that they didn't know was going to be a problem. But they're always looking for something that's going to connect to the author. You know, it's like, well, tell me, how unstable were you when you wrote all of those books?
Yes, I know. You spent some time in the mental hospital. Like, what is happening here? But that's why I actually wrote under a pen name.
Oh, very good.
I was in technology. Again, not a lot of us in technology. So I need to be clean, professional. I didn't need nobody Googling me and seeing this crazy doll. So that's what led me to actually write under a pen name, because I wanted, because my profession and my creative writing are so different. I wanted to keep them separate, which is why I started writing under pen name to begin with.
And you know what's funny? I remember when I put in your name, of course, for Yahoo, and your name came up, and I said, "Nah, I know I ain't been sending all the emails to the wrong person." And then it dawned on me, she did say she had a pen there. Okay. So I didn't even blink, but it did catch me, because I was like, good Lord, I've been sending all of this stuff to the wrong person. How in the world? They didn't even respond and say you got the wrong person. They're just accepting it. But it's understood. It's understood. I had the same question come up about my name. You know, are you going to change your name? Look, I changed my name when I got my first divorce. I changed it again when I got married again. No, I'm not changing nothing. Leave it the way that it is. It is what it is, you know. But I understand totally. What kind of, like you said, the books are one thing. The profession is another thing. When you go to do speaking, when you go to do speaking engagements and you're asked about your books versus your profession, do you find that there are conflicts with the audience when they're trying to understand? Because like I said, they try to make connection where we don't even think about a connection. You know, do you find that sometimes people don't understand totally the writer that you are?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, and I think it's almost like a clash when you think about, well, she's in technology, but she's writing these type of books. So when I'm being interviewed sometimes, and they're trying to kind of understand the technology piece and then the writer piece, and they're like, well, there's a disconnect here. Why aren't you writing like textbooks? And why are you like in a totally different area? But I spend so much time in technology that I want the lighter creative side. That's why I don't write. I could write a tech book, but I don't want to do that because I spend so much time in it. Like I'm always studying for a certification. I'm six times certified in a lot of technology stuff. So I spend a lot of time studying and in technology, learning software. The creative side is my release to just be crazy and free and not be in these guidelines of technology. So there's always a conflict, but I found a way to manage that conflict to make me happy to be able to do both.
Oh, very good.
Very good. Yeah.
Well, I love it. Okay, so now I'm gonna have to ask this question because you just alluded to one thing that you do is an escape from the other thing that you do, and vice versa. Okay, so you say you love to travel.
Yes.
Best place you've traveled to and why, or the most favorite, or
I think the most recent trip, my husband and I went to Antigua, and it was so awesome. We had such a good time there. We went, we stayed at all inclusive. We got a chance to just enjoy the island and ATV and all that good stuff. So I would say that with my husband, that was probably one of my best trips. But I love girlfriend trips. Like me and my girls, we get away and we find time to just have fun. Because I'm also care provider for my mom. So a lot of times when I need that escape sometimes,
Yes.
so I get a chance to get away with the girls and I have a way to manage that. So I love my girlfriend getaway trips as well. Those are always fun. It doesn't matter where we go. We always have a riot of a time. So
Yeah.
I love traveling.
Okay, and I'm gonna just say this because I know we're not to compare ourselves to anyone else, but I feel that I have not been using 90% of my life.
Stop it, please. Stop
Because
it.
then,
Stop
then
it.
on top of that, you're caregiver for your mother.
Yes.
So I
No,
vow
Yes.
to
no, I
you,
love
you
prime
are
time. I
amazing.
prime time.
You are amazing. And I was even reading in your bio modeling, and you gave up modeling to do all of this stuff. So again,
Yeah.
my mind is blown. I love you. I admire you.
Thank you so much.
And not only that, the thing about it is how great is it that we get to explore if we live life completely. If
Mm-hmm.
we live life, I'm not talking about pretend and I want to do and I want to try. I'm talking about taking the delve
Mm-hmm.
into doing things that we think we might not be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
You are the perfect example of taking that plunge because of the simple fact that you had to overcome something that most people would have said, that's just it. That's just the way I am.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't allow that to be a factor.
Yes.
And then, of course, all that's open to you after, all that's made available. Yeah, you might have had, and I'm quite sure you did, not trying to diminish any of it. You might have had your ups, your downs, your challenges, your ins, your outs, your, hey, you didn't make this, you had to make that. We
Yeah.
all have that. But
Mm-hmm.
just to have that inner core of, I'm not going to allow this to stop the dream. I'm
Absolutely.
not going to allow this to do that. I give you
Thank you
kudos
so much.
because of the simple fact that there's so many that would have looked at it and said, I can't,
Mm-hmm.
I won't,
Right.
or I don't. And you took all of those and just threw them out the window and said, hey, let's get it on. Let's
Let's
let's let's
go. Let's
let's go.
go. That's my mentality. Let's go. You say I can't do it. Watch
I'm
me.
going to right.
Watch
Watch me.
me do
Watch
it.
me. And
Yes.
yeah, because you've created a whole disillusional thing over me saying, watch my smoke, because you done came in with a whole flabbermaster, said, no, I got smoke. You got
Right?
dust. You got a little bit of dust. I got smoke. I got smoke. But
I love
I
it.
commend you for it, because the thing about it is your personality and everything else is beautiful. It's
Thank you.
beautiful because a lot of people have that inner anger, that inner emotion, because they haven't been able to accomplish what they haven't even tried,
Yeah.
what they haven't even put their foot into, because of the
Mm-hmm.
simple fact that they're scared of whatever may not work out.
Mm-hmm.
I commend you, because a lot of times it takes that fear to push you. It takes that
Absolutely.
fear to say you got to be able to do it.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I wanted to know is, what does the future hold? What are you going to get into? What is left? That's what's crucial. You got the technology thing going, and that's going to be forever and ever, amen, because
Oh,
that's the era that we're going into.
mm-hmm.
You do your books, so the
Mm-hmm.
only thing for that is the same thing. You and I are reaching for the same goal of that. We're looking for our spot on Tubi or
Yes.
BT, or
Yes.
we looking for production companies. Look, pull me in, I pull you in. One of those things. We're looking for the same thing. But what is your vision? What you got going on? What you got
Yeah.
coming up?
I think that really, and I do some of this now, I really want to do a lot more mentoring. And a lot of in our community, they don't realize the power and the opportunities that's in technology. So I want to be able to do more speaking engagements to really help our brown children, our young boys and girls understand that you can go into technology. You a lot of time it's not really encouraged in our some of our school systems. So I want to be able to go through and talk to schools and kind of tell them the importance of technology, and most importantly, to show that it's achievable. and that you can do it because there's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of money to be made there. But then with automation getting developed, it's just a way of the future. So I want to be able to drive technology in my community for people who don't think they can get into technology that looks like me. That's what I would love to be able to focus on in my upcoming years.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
Love it.
Okay.
I love it.
So, and that of course leads us to the question, what does success look like to you? But you've already explained what success looks like. It's spreading it in the community and being able to share it with everybody. So we already understand that you're on this plight to be one of the best, or the best. We won't even say one of the best. The best, because like you said, we don't have many, especially women. We don't have many women of color that are taking on that challenge, and especially to teach those that have disabilities and have problems with learning skills and everything else. So again, I commend you. Let them know, Eva, how can they get in touch with you? Can they get in touch with you through your website?
Yes, you can get in touch with me through my website, evatremaine.com. You can also reach out to my software company, TremaineITSolutions.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I'm very approachable. If you are a school and you're looking for someone to come out to engage with your students, please reach out to me. I love pouring back into the community, and I'm very approachable, so don't hesitate.
And everybody, you heard that. Don't hesitate. If you think you don't know, listen, hit me up later this week. I'll tell you how bad she beat me down, because I'm definitely going to be asking her, where did I lose this one little piece off my phone? I have no idea what happened to it. But I'll tell you, everything you need to know about her personality, saying she was pleasurable. Yeah, okay. Did you teach me what I needed to know? Yeah. Because we sometimes need to get right to the point. But she's a beautiful person, people. I just want you to understand.
I appreciate you ladies so much. And thank you for having me on the call. This has been so fun.
Yes.
It has been such my pleasure. You trailblazer, challenge overcomer, seeker.
Are you going down that list? Are you going down that list of 50 something?
Well, and then she added 40 more while we were talking. Gave us the cliff notes of
yes. We've learned a lot.
Thank you for that, because I probably wouldn't have come on this call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, ladies.
I am inspired by you, and I thank you for using your gifts and sharing them with the world, and not hoarding them. And again, I think I promise you, after talking to you, I'm only living 10% of my life.
Thank you guys so much.
But I love it. I am so blessed by this conversation, and thank you, Nanette, because you're connected to the great people.
Well, you know what? I've met some awesome people along the way, and like I told you, I wanted to make sure that in each realm, community, literary, mothering, family, whatever it is that I needed to be connected to, these people in one way or another picked up the baton and said, you need to carry this baton, but I'm gonna hold it right now while you going through this. And then I'm gonna give it to you, and you're gonna go on to the next level. You be able to go. So some of these people, like I said, Alicia Evans and Eva, I've known for years. And to be able to just contact them at any time and say, hey, I'm doing this. What do you think? Do you want to, do you want to join? Do you want to do this? And them to say yes. It's not so much important that you ask. It's important that they're able to say yes, because they too remember who you were.
Absolutely.
And the impression that you put on them. So we have to remember, when we're out in public and we're doing our thing as literary icons, if people want to call us that, as authors, as people that are doing things in the community, as people that have our own companies, we have to remember, these people remember you.
That's true.
You give somebody the wrong impression, you don't know down the line when you might have to go to that same person and look them in the face and say, hey, would you?
Right.
Yes.
And
And you've always been a pleasure, though. So
right. And
you've
you
always been our down homie from the beginning. So we love you in the net. So
I love it.
Yes. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate Sugar and Spice. I wish I could get there in December. I'm still trying to talk to my husband. We're gonna keep that
try. We need to see y'all, both of y'all, please.
We putting it on down low. I'm gonna try.
What is Sugar and Spice in
yes, December, but I think it's
December 7th. No,
I think
December
it's
7th.
Yeah, and I think there's a conflict in the dates.
November 7th,
No, December.
December 7th.
December. But I think I got a conflict in the dates. But when I said it to him, he said, "Don't we have something else?" And I'm like, "What else is on that day?" So I'm still whispering.
Okay.
I'm still whispering. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being a part of IPEN Visions.
Thank you for having me.
Conversations. And I want to thank your guests for coming in and viewing. And you can see the repeat on my website, or you can see the repeat on YouTube. And we'll be, getting to you. I'll give you that information. Just hang on, and we're going to say goodnight to everybody else.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was so good. It was so good.
Thank you. Yes. I'll come out and hang out with you ladies anytime. I love it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.